Hello again. Thanks for coming back. Another episode of the Make Room Show. And today I'm excited to talk about something that can really skyrocket your year. It's something that was kind of came to me as a download at the end of 2023. And so I'm really, really excited to share it with you. It's something that's going to empower you and get you excited about what you could possibly accomplish this year. And before I get started, I just want to come on and give a little update. So, right now, I'm sitting in my office in New York, and it is day 3 of a pretty big snowstorm. So, it's coming down pretty heavy. It's been a long weekend of snow and kind of like a great time to just stay home, get things done. And I've had a lot of time to think. I actually just did a podcast on my friend Amy DeBrock's show this morning, all about restoration instead of resolution. And it was so interesting. So tune in to that when I share it on Instagram, probably in the next week. It was a really, really deep conversation about how we kind of slow down this time of year and how we can benefit from that. And one of the things that I mentioned on Amy's show, and I'll give it to you here, is that the thing that's hit me is that until I calm down or quiet down, I can't get the clarity that I need, right? If I don't take some time, whether it be in the morning or just in a season of life where you really just sit back and decompress, then I can't get the downloads that God has in store for me, or I can't even think about how I might want to change. And one of the things that I have really thought about a lot this year is instead of figuring out a list of like, what I want to do in 2024, I've been thinking a lot about who I want to become. And that is a huge mind shift because in order to become the person I want to become in 2024, I'm going to have to establish some systems, some scheduling, some habits and routines that will enable me to grow into the person I hope to become. That person that I want to look in the mirror at the end of 2024 and say, yep, you weren't the same person at the end of last year, but you focused on growing into the person that you dream of being. And that's something that we can all start doing today. And one of the things that I really have thought about a lot this year is the fact that I want to just level up in so many areas. And of course, at the beginning of the new year, we always kind of have a little bit of that feeling, right? But this year, more than ever, and I think a lot of it has to do with I have had this undercurrent of transition going on where I'm transitioning from having my kids in the house all the time to living in an open nest, having a little bit more time to think, a little bit more free time on my hands. And it's really been a ride, a transition, not always something that I love doing because I miss my kids desperately. And there's so many days where I want to go back to who I was when I was a younger mom and the house was full. And even though it was chaotic, it was just so fun. And I loved every minute of it. So if you are still in that season, trust me, enjoy it because it goes by fast. But now that I have a little bit more time and energy on my hands, I've really given a lot of thought to this becoming, right? Who do I want to become? And a lot of the thinking and the dreaming have kind of given me clarity in a new way, a way I've never had before. If you've listened to the show all these years, you know that I started out as a professional organizer and life kind of turned into just a constant unwrapping of who I could be when I stepped into my fullest potential and I followed my purpose. And nowadays I'm doing a lot of life coaching, productivity coaching, and I'm seeing how there's really a thread underneath that is tying it all together. And I think if you really look at your life closely, we all have this feeling of like, this step took me to this step, and then this step took me to that step. And there is a reason for every single step. And so this word has really struck me at the end of 2023 when I was thinking about what I wanted to do in 2024. And the word is power. Now, I know we talk a lot about words out there like people are always saying the word of the year is this, the word of the year is that. I never even went looking for this word. And what was crazy about it is it was just in that season of calming down and rest and restoration, I heard the word powerhouse. And we've heard that word powerhouse before, but for some reason it came through to me differently. And I've kind of, you've heard me kind of briefly mention that I started doing one-to-one mentorship with women that were serious about becoming powerhouses. But today I want to kind of walk you through a little bit of the inside, like the sneak peek of what the program is all about so that you can start to apply bits and pieces of this to your life now, because I know it is helping so many people, including myself. So power stands for productivity, organization, wealth, energy, and relationships. And these are the 5 core pieces of what not only have I found in my own life of stepping more and more into my full potential, more and more into my purpose, growing more businesses, having more opportunities out in the world, but also the same things I have taught to other women and watch them become powerhouses, which is huge. And the word house is in there because everything I do is about creating this space in the world that we live in, right? Our house is our one place in the entire universe that is just for us and our family. And so if we can build a life or a house or a career with these 5 core principles, you can do anything. And in your house, right, other people in your family are watching you. They're learning from you. You're being an example. You're being a role model. And if I could say, okay, let's boil it down to a woman that wants to be the best example in the world to her children, what would be the 5 things that you could focus on? And this is what it would be, the acronym for power. And so I want to share a little bit about each one so that you can really use this for yourself. I'm actually using this as framework for my year and what I want, who I want to become this year. And I have like individual things that fall under each word that I'm going to apply to my life. So you can take this when I teach this to you today and you can tweak it for what you want and who you want to become. So the first word is productivity. And productivity is, first of all, it's slowed down by mental and physical and relationship. It's slowed down by all the types of clutter. It really is. Productivity is something that you could be hell bent. You could start January, guns ablaze, and you're out there, you're getting stuff done, you're moving and grooving, you're fired up. And then all of a sudden, this mental clutter comes in where you're like, guess what? That dream you have, there's no way you're going to pull that off. You're not that person. You aren't going to accomplish all these goals that you set out for this year. All of a sudden you start to believe it, and that mental clutter becomes a deep-rooted negative thought. Or maybe you're in that framework, you're guns a-blazing, you're going forward, high speed ahead, but you can't find the notes that you made, or the paperwork that has to be handed in, or the login for a website that you need to go on and like create a new program or change something about your business, because that is considered physical clutter and that can slow down productivity. So productivity is something, it's actually the opposite of procrastination. Productivity is when you have things that you're getting done. You're not stuck. You're not spinning your wheels. You're actually moving in the right direction. So I want you, the first thing to do is to create a plan for eliminating mental and physical clutter this year, right? What does that look like? You don't want mental and physical clutter to kind of sneak up on you. So you need to be proactive and decide ahead of time how you're going to eliminate that. Maybe an example of eliminating mental clutter is journaling and writing down affirmations, or listening to positive messages in the morning that fire you up and remind you who you are. Maybe the physical clutter is, um, getting rid of more stuff so you can find what you need when you're looking for. Productivity also requires you to be disciplined. So I would ask you to answer some questions like, what could you do this year to be a more disciplined person? Because when you're disciplined, you get things done when you are supposed to get them done. You don't wait, you don't act lazy, you don't make excuses. You get your stuff done and then you rest, or then you have a good time, or then you enjoy something else. But the bottom line is, let's face it, we've heard this 1,000 times. This is nothing new. Every successful person in the world, every powerhouse is disciplined about when they get up in the morning, the tasks that they do throughout their day. This is stuff that we know, but when are you going to become that disciplined person? Because the longer you procrastinate on becoming disciplined, the longer your dreams are going to procrastinate. The other thing is productivity requires better systems, right? Systems for your home, systems for your work. Systems help with productivity. So maybe you need to look at some of these things that you can implement. Maybe it's a simple system as far as how you handle your email, right? Or how you keep track of new incoming clients. Systems help you with productivity. They help you get more done in less time. You're not reinventing the wheel, doing the same thing over and over every single week. You actually have a system that takes care of it. And so it might seem like, oh, I don't have time to implement a system. But if you knew how to implement a system and it was simple and easy, and then you decided to take a day or two to put that system into place, you're going to save tons and tons of time throughout the entire year. And it's going to free up some time to do other things, which is going to lead to more productivity. And the final thing I'll say about productivity is to really pre-plan your time. Use the time blocks. Use map out your ideal week with time blocks. And then after you do that, which I can't go into all the ways that you can do this. This is why there is a coaching program based on this, a mentorship based on this. But basically, time blocking is saying, okay, I designate these 2 hours to this activity. And you claim the time ahead. You can color block it. You can put it in your calendar and you say, this is the time that I see clients, or this is the time I spend with my family, or whatever the time block is. And then throughout the year, you fill it in with the tasks that are within those parameters. So that's time blocking. The next letter in power is organization. It's my favorite word. That in organization is as simple as figuring out how you can have more organization in your life. Create a plan for eliminating physical clutter and getting every room organized, or getting your office organized. And it's like literally creating a plan. And if you don't know how to do this, you need to work with somebody like me that will tell you how to do it, or grab one of my books, or take one of my courses or programs so that it helps you. But the key is that every single thing you own has a home. Like things together. We don't live in the maybe. We live in the now. We don't say, well, someday I might need this, or someday I need that. But you literally create a space room by room from beginning to end. You don't go squirreling around from this room to that room. You focus on one room at a time, get it organized, and know that you can check it off your list. And then you can focus on other things that you're trying to accomplish this year. So it can be anything from, okay, I'm going to clean up my mudroom and I'm going to have a system for launching everybody out of the house in the morning. It can be, okay, there's all these papers coming in from school. There's kids' papers that need to be signed. There's memorabilia. What do I need to do to organize this? And how can I put a system in place so that I don't have to think about it? That's what organization does. There's less thinking and deciding once you get, like, my clients that we go through room by room and we get everything organized and everything has a home. It takes the guesswork out of where do I put this when it's time to put it away? Or even more importantly, where can I find it when I need it? Right. So it frees up your mind. It just makes life easier. There's so many benefits to the organization part of this. And it just helps you feel like you've got everything under control, right? You don't have to beat yourself up anymore. Oh, I wish my house was organized. Or I wish I could have people over, things like that. I just started working with a new client and she lives in a gorgeous home. It happens to be also a ginormous home. It's 13,000 square feet. And she doesn't allow people to come over right now. She's embarrassed. It's the clutter makes her feel embarrassed. And even though it's nothing horrible, it's that voice that tells us it should be better, right? It should be more organized. I should be good at this. And because she has the negative mental clutter in there telling her it's just not what it should be, she isn't enjoying her home as much as she could. Her kids aren't enjoying their home as much as they could. They're not making memories with other people in the home like they could. And so it happens. This happens, just so you know, with all different home sizes, all different levels of income. When you feel like your home is disorganized, it brings about a lot of shame and embarrassment. And that's why people decide they don't want to host or have people come over and open the door and welcome them in. And that's sad because we want our homes to be a place that people can pop in, or friends can come and sit for coffee, or we can have a dinner party, or just a simple play date, right? The W in power, it stands for wealth. And this is something where wealth is different for everyone. So whatever wealth means to you, I want you to focus on that this year. But really, when it comes to wealth, as far as money, you need to, if you feel like you're not in a wealthy position, I want to encourage you this year to focus on work on improving your money mindset. Okay. This is something that I'm really doing with myself. And it's one of my goals for 2024 is, in order to elevate to the next steps for my businesses, I need to work on my mindset to know that I'm worthy of that next step, that I'm capable of that next step, that I will be a good steward at the next step. And the way I do that is I read, right? I listen to experts on podcasts. I work with a coach. I educate myself. And we live in a world now where we can get a lot of education for free. I mean, obviously, there's just so much I could say about the benefits of working with a coach or a mentor. It's changed my life. But if you aren't in a place to do that, then by all means, look into some great books, listen to some great podcasts, do a search. Money mindset is huge. And I'm learning the more that I do this, that the better my money mindset is, the more I am a magnet for money and wealth. The way I talk about money, the way I view myself with money, the way I steward the money I have, right? Instead of just being like, okay, I don't know where my money is going, I organize my money so that I can be a good steward. That's something that's huge. I meet so many women that I've said, okay, let's get your money organized. And they don't have a budget. They don't have any auto pay. They don't use QuickBooks or spreadsheets. There's nothing that can help them keep their money organized. But just like everything else in your life, there are systems and ways to organize it. And when you do, it empowers you, right? I don't have to guess, where is my money going this month? I see it. I have systems in place. I have a budget in place. I have these tools that I use that help me know where all of our money is going. And then it also helps me understand, okay, if I want to add something else to my life, like say I want to be able to travel more or have more freedom, how much is that going to cost? And where am I going to add it in? How am I going to add it in? These are the questions you can ask yourself. Maybe it's as simple as, you don't even need to make more money. You need to stop spending money. You need to eliminate some bills or some things that you've been paying for, like subscriptions for a long time that you've kind of forgot about. You can sometimes give yourself a real raise just by looking at money that you're wasting and stopping that from happening. But if you don't have your money organized in a way that you understand where it's going, you will never be able to figure out how you're wasting it. So it's very important. And again, if you can't steward what you currently have, then be careful about asking for more, because it's just going to require more of this work that I'm talking about. So that's wealth. The fourth letter is energy. And this is another thing that I I've always been a pretty energetic person, and I know a lot of the things to do for my wellness and for my body in order to maintain the energy that I need to get everything done in a day. But there are so many things that you can do to increase your mental energy and the energy that helps you become the person that you want to be. First of all, one of the things that can zap your energy again is clutter, because if you have clutter surrounding you, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual clutter, relationship clutter, that will suck the energy out of you faster than anything else. So one of the things is I want you to figure out, like, what are some things, maybe it's 3 things you can start to do this year in order to improve your health, which will improve your energy level. When we're feeling our best, we have the most energy. And then what can you do to reduce clutter so that you'll have an increase of energy from reducing clutter? Maybe it goes back to that organization component where you're going to organize your office and your desk so that when you sit down, you're not drained by the piles of paper, but you're actually energized to open up that computer screen and build the business of your dreams. Maybe you can eliminate, what else are there? What other things are eliminating, or do you need to eliminate in order to increase energy? Maybe it's somebody that's draining the energy out of you. Maybe it's a toxic relationship that's just sucking you dry because it's always negative. Negative people will drain your energy. Maybe it's just a matter of increasing your energy by learning how to become an energetic match for what you want this year, and really learning how to laser focus on it, and not even just focus on, okay, I want to have this type of business this year, or I want to travel to this place, or I want this relationship in my life, but imagine, what does it feel like to get that in your life? What does it feel like to reach that goal that you have? Literally take a few minutes in your body and feel the feelings. Like, okay, if I were able to, maybe one of your dreams is to get a TED Talk this year, and you're on the stage, like, okay, instead of just thinking, oh, I'd like to be a TED Talk speaker, imagine the feelings you would feel walking on that stage and staring at that audience. What would that feel like? Because that's what's going to drive you. And that's the thing too, is that when you feel the feelings, your brain doesn't know the difference if it happened already or it's going to happen. Your brain will be like, oh, I'm a TEDx speaker now. I am a rock star on that stage. And next thing you know, what happens? You start getting emails about speaking engagements. You get, people that are hitting you up in the DMs asking you if you'll speak about your topic, because your brain is already feeling the feelings, and now it's telling yourself, this is who you are, right? So we can feel into who we want to become this year as well. And then finally, relationships. So create a plan for eliminating relationship clutter. Get rid of the clutter that is affecting your relationships. I want you to also think about 5 personal relationships that you want to pour into this year, instead of feeling like you have to be everything to everybody, and that can make you feel less energetic. Just really think about, okay, who do I want to focus on this year as far as relationships? Who do I want to pour into? Maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your neighbor. Maybe you have an elderly neighbor you just feel like needs you. Maybe it's somebody at work. Maybe it's somebody that you really look up to and you just want to be around that person because they could be a mentor to you, or you could just, their positive energy could radiate into you. Maybe you could, like, take that list of the 5 people you want to pour into, take it a step farther, pull out your phone, pull out your calendar, send a text. Hey, would you want to get together for coffee? Do you want to join me every week for this, pickleball league? Or I'm just saying that, I'm obsessed with pickleball right now. Or recently I started joining a couple friends every week for a line dancing class. Like, this is when you get stuff on the calendar, it's a set date with these people in your life. And that's when you know that you're going to spend time with them and you're going to be able to pour into them, and your relationship is going to grow in a positive way. But if we don't put the effort into it, then don't be surprised when you don't have positive strong relationships in your life. And if you don't know how to do this, listen to last week's episode about transformational relationships and friendships compared to transactional friendships. It was an awesome podcast. I did it with 2 other coaches, and I've given it a lot of thought lately. I don't want to pour my energy into relationships that aren't life-giving. At this point in my life, I know who I want to become this year, and it doesn't have I can't do that and keep wasting my time on relationships that are just making me feel bad about myself or negative or are sucking the life out of me. Or it could be as simple as spending time with the people that you know what they say, you are the 5 people you hang out with the most. So if you want to level up this year, then hang out with other people that are leveling up this year, because you can talk about this with them. They'll understand you. Don't hang out with the people that are trying to keep you small or are jealous or are insecure and bringing you down. This is why it's so awesome to just have January to look forward. We have 11 more months, and it's like an empty journal. It can be whatever we want it to be. And the important thing is on that last page of December 31st, are you going to be able to write all the things that you wanted to do? And are you going to be able to say, I've become that person I focused on being? And relationships have a huge part about that. You can do the same thing for business relationships. 5 people that you really want to focus on for your business, or maybe you don't know who they are yet. So maybe you just reach out and get some ideas for events or networking or ways that you could join some meetups, or just how can you get in front of those types of people this year? That is another great question to ask yourself. So I hope that this gives you a different way of planning out your year. I don't like resolutions, so but I love the feeling of this year can be anything I want it to be. I can become whoever I want to become this year, and I am excited for the journey. And if you don't plan, if you don't think about it, it's probably not going to happen. These things don't just usually fall into your lap. You have to put some effort into it, and you have to have a lot of intention. So I really, really hope that you are excited to become a powerhouse this year. And if you are hearing this and you're like, this is awesome, but I don't know where to start. This is awesome. I need this, but I need to go way deeper. I need the systems. I need the tools. I need the action steps. I need the checklists, all of that. I need the hand holding. I need the accountability. If that's you, then I really encourage you to just go to my Instagram, jenniferfordberry.com, and DM me right now and just say, hey, I want to become a powerhouse. What do I have to do? And I'll send you the link. But in the meantime, remember, you can become anybody that you want to become this year. You have the power to do that. All you have to do is plug it in. There is a massive, massive life and a massive opportunity of dreams waiting for you. You just have to make the decision to go out and get it and make room for that. So until next time, God bless everybody. I hope you have a wonderful January. I hope you stay warm, and I will see you next time on the Make Room Show.